painting to photography, from beadwork to woodworking, KQAL FM on the campus of Winona State University presents Art Beat. Art Beat highlights the work and accomplishments of local artists from in and around Winona. Support for Art Beat is made possible by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
On this episode of Art Beat, we take you to the 2021 Frozen River Film Festival, which was held virtually this year. Today, we sit down with Connor Forhan, director of What Floats Your Boat, which was part of the local set at this year's festival. Connor is a student at Winona State University and got connected to Sanborn Merimack canoes through a career exploration project for school. The resulting film, What Floats Your Boat, is an exploration of how people can be happy and fulfilled in their work. I'm Bill Stoneberg. Stick around as we ask what floats your boat with filmmaker Connor Forhan on Art Beat. I'm here with Connor Forhan. He's the director of What Floats Your Boat, which was a film that was part of the local set at the 2021 Frozen River Film Festival here in Winona. Connor, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. I really loved the film. Cool imagery because, well, I'm a big fan of canoes and canoeing and water in general and stuff like that. And I have a slight interest in woodworking too, so it was really neat, I thought. I kind of assumed, and maybe that's wrong, I don't know, but you might have like an interest in canoeing or woodworking or both. Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose this subject, or does it have nothing to do with that? I don't know,
It didn't specifically have anything to do with my interests. I have canoed before, and I really enjoyed it. I do love the water in general. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of boating. But really it was just that a representative from the Winona Area Chamber of Commerce sent out an email to film students at WSU looking for a filmmaker to make a few sort of educational documentaries. Really what they wanted to do was sort of highlight some different career options around town from like local businesses to be played for high school students.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So were there multiple other filmmakers doing different businesses in town and stuff like that?
Yeah, so I actually made 2 more films about a couple other businesses, and then there were several other students that made some other films as well.
Nice. So then those are all going to get shown in the high schools around here?
Yep.
Cool. Oh, that's awesome. It might even get them interested in filmmaking.
Yeah, it could.
I suppose, so that is really great, kind of giving back to the community, Are you from this area, or?
I'm from Rochester.
Rochester, okay, so close by, for sure. Where did so is that where the spark came from? How did you decide to do Sanborn Merimack canoes as opposed to like another business? Why did you choose that one?
Well, the chamber had a list of businesses that had agreed to, sort of partner and willing to have somebody come and spy on them for a day and interview them, basically. Right. And so I think that like the lady Nicole that I was emailing back and forth, she just shot me a few ideas. And I was like, oh, yeah, the canoe thing sounds cool, and a couple other ones. So, yeah. It was just like a small list that I just chose from.
Right. Well, I'm really glad you did because, like I said, I enjoyed the film. I thought it was super cool imagery just because I'm interested in the topic and stuff. And like I told you before we started, I was aware of Sanborn, but not super familiar with their products. So it was really cool to see like the inside, and their process, and hear the employees talk and stuff. Have you used their products at all, or?
I haven't.
No.
No.
Okay. I would like to,
Yeah, definitely.
But what I just said before about seeing the inner workings of the company, and the employees and their opinions, it was interesting because a common theme expressed by them was how much they absolutely love their job, which I think, personally, I think it kind of shows when you see the products, I mean, they're very well crafted, obviously, and they're gorgeous looking, How do you think that affects the product in the end, the employee or the worker's like attitude, I mean, do you think that has a great effect on the end result, or?
Definitely. I mean, I think that it's really significant how much they really care about what they're doing, because multiple of the employees that I was interviewing expressed a similar sentiment to the idea that this is something that they would be doing anyways. Like if this wasn't their job, they'd be doing this at home, but now they just get paid to do it and they don't even have to pay for the equipment, and it's like they love what they're doing. And so they're really, they're putting a lot of care into it and making a product that is probably something that they would genuinely want to use themselves.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. They put a lot of care into it because they enjoy it so much, and it's stuff that they would use. So yeah, I think they have sympathy for the customer, the consumer, which is great. Do you think that also, like that attitude where they love their job and their work, do you think that it also maybe has like a greater effect on the community as a whole to have a company like that here in town that has so much like passion for what they do?
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's important to have local businesses that really care about what they're doing and they care about the community. And, I think that the community kind of, local businesses are sort of just a reflection of the community.
Okay. Yeah. I think you're right about that, and yeah, for sure. Is there anything that you noticed or, that came out in the interviews that would indicate like that maybe there's something different being done there to create this attitude? Or is it just the simple fact that these guys just really like working with wood and making canoes? And, do you think there's anything systematic or like, something in the organization where it's structured that allows for them to, be so happy at work? I think a lot of people would be jealous to be so happy at work,
Definitely. I think that there's a lot of camaraderie there. I noticed a very similar thing. I did another film at Island City, the brewing company. And yeah, in both cases, it's like just watching these people work together, you can really tell that these people are friends and it's more of like a family atmosphere, and many of the employees that I interviewed almost said the same exact thing about how, like, if you work for a big corporation, a lot of times you might feel like a number, whereas in a small business like this, where you really know everybody that you're working with and you're working for, it provides a nice environment for you to work in and to be happy.
Right. So, like, they probably feel real supported by their employer, and their coworkers as well, I think that affects people's attitudes as well when they know that someone is really counting on them, and then they feel like they can count on their coworkers. I think that makes a big difference. Why do you think it's so important that people find like joy or satisfaction in their work?
Well, I mean, it's going to take up a significant chunk of your life. You only have so many hours in a day and you only have so many days in your life. And so, I just really think that it's important for people to find something that they care about and that can also, sustain them, because just making money can't be the goal of your life.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's nice to get a paycheck, right? We all have bills to pay, but in the end, if you're not happy doing it, it's not really worth it, So as we talked before we started recording here, you're a film studies major here at Winona State, correct?
Yep.
So you did a film for Sanborn, Merimack Canoes, Island City Brewing. Did you do any other businesses in town, or was it just those two? Or?
Yeah, I did a third one that was on some local nonprofit organizations.
Okay, nice. Now, I'm kind of curious. So obviously you have an interest in filmmaking in your future, right?
Yeah.
Did any of the process of making these films, did it make you interested in maybe another business, like canoe building or something, or brewing beer,
I was definitely intrigued by the process of the woodworking and the brewing. I would say that if I was going to choose to go into something more like that, I would probably choose the woodworking over the brewing. That definitely is something that would be cool to me. I would consider myself to be a fairly artistic person. I think it's cool to have like a form of art that's very like tactile, and that you're like forming shapes. That's something that I would be interested in, and I probably I probably wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's just like, I don't know. Film is definitely something that I've always been passionate about, and I know that that's probably what I would be the most happy with.
Right, right. Cool. So filmmaking, that's where your heart lies. Then.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you think, I mean, it's interesting. I like what you said about art forms that are kind of tactile and working with those shapes. That kind of triggered something in my head, because I view a lot of, like what we do here at the radio station or even like music production, filmmaking, I think you're piecing together shapes in a lot of this stuff. You're trying to, you have all these components and you have to make it fit together and make sense, to convey something. Do you think that looking at these other careers, things that other people do like woodworking or brewing beer, do you think that stuff can kind of help you in the future with even something like filmmaking, just the way that they think about their job, the way they're passionate about the way that paddle's shaped, or, you think those might be transferable skills, or? I know that was kind of a long-winded question there.
I guess that I would say something that I learned from, watching this crew work and from having conversations with them is just really the importance of working together. And having that sort of camaraderie, I think that's super applicable to what I want to do, which is filmmaking, because film is absolutely a medium that is created by a team.
Right.
As much as we want to attribute it to a single director or whatever, I mean, a movie is really not possible without a vast team of people working together. Yeah. I mean, especially when we're talking about like big budget Hollywood pictures, right. And so seeing these guys really like, talking to each other and just really like working together and finding that groove where they are like kind of part of a whole. I think that's something that's really important to any job that requires teamwork.
Right. Definitely. I would wholeheartedly agree, for sure. So we talked about it. Filmmaking is kind of where your passion lies. Where do you see yourself in, like, like maybe like 5 years after graduation or something like that? Where would you like to see yourself?
So my area of expertise / my like major passion is in post-production.
Okay.
Specifically film editing.
Nice.
Is something that I really enjoy, but I also I'm also into audio production. I took 2 years at RCTC where I was studying music technology.
Nice.
So really either audio post-production or film editing, I'd be super happy to be working in either of those fields. Ideally, I want to be working on like narrative films. So, I mean, I think that like immediately after graduation, it's probably pretty feasible that I'll be working, on commercials and stuff like that. But I would hope to eventually, have the opportunity to be working on movies, movies that have a story, like a story that I care about, ideally. Right. So I'm currently applying to all kinds of internships in California. I would really like to move to Burbank as soon as possible if I could get an internship or a job there. And just work, anywhere that will hire me that's, related to post-production, and then ideally start making those connections until one day, the job opens up that I could come work for like a big studio.
Right. Cool. I like that. I really like the post-production stuff too. I love all aspects of it, but that's where I really just kind of dig in and I'm like, oh, I like this. It feels like, I guess I kind of feel like the guys talking about shaping the paddles, it feels like the meat and potatoes for me, So yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. So you're graduating this next semester, so it'd be what, winter 2021, December 2021 would be officially when you graduate?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. So Frozen River Film Festival next year. Do you think you might have another entry in it, or?
Yeah, I certainly might. Since they've already had me once, I'm sure that I could get another film in there. I could even submit one of my other films. The one I did for Island City Brewing Company, I was actually really happy with. I felt like that one turned out better than What Floats Your Boat, just because I learned a lot from the process of making What Floats Your Boat. But at that time, it was already too late for submissions to the film festival.
Right.
So I still would like to show this one. It's called Brewing Happiness at a future festival. Otherwise, if I make another short film between now and then, yeah, I'd be happy to play it there as well.
I love it. I'm looking forward to seeing something else. And in fact, I'd like to see Brewing Happiness. Is there a place, like if someone missed What Floats Your Boat, or they'd like to see, Brewing Happiness, or the other films you've created, is there a place online they can go and view these films? Or
I think that they might be available on POV Winona.
Okay.
But I can't remember, to be completely honest.
Okay. So maybe search POV Winona and see if you're up there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've done a lot of various film related projects, and a lot of times my professor will say like, "Hey, you want to put this on POV Winona?" And I'm like, "Sure." But I guess I just can't remember specifically if those are on there.
Do you have a YouTube channel or anything like that has other work? Or
yeah, I do have a YouTube channel. It's called C4 Productions.
Okay.
So these films aren't on there just because they don't exactly fit with the brand of the type of stuff that I've been putting out on there.
Okay.
I started the channel a long time ago when I was like 10. And basically it kind of just formed out of my love for like action and fantasy media, and I started making these mock trailers,
nice.
using various characters that I liked from movies and kind of matching them together or whatnot. So actually just a few days ago, I put out a new trailer. It's like a Batman Beyond trailer. It's like an animated series from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just I love editing, and trailers are something that I find super compelling. So just as sort of an exercise and for fun, and to have the chance to work with characters that I love, even though it's not exactly making a new film that I'm actually like hired for, but just for fun, I'll put that sort of thing out.
Nice. So maybe there we can kind of see a progression of things you've done throughout the years, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice, very nice. What is it? I want to ask you about. You said you really enjoy making trailers. What is it about trailers that interests you so much?
I guess it's because I feel like trailers, at least when I'm looking at a trailer, it's like all I'm seeing is editing. It's very much an editor's medium, because in film you usually are trying to hide the cuts so that the audience doesn't notice the edits. But I guess there's something about trailers that it's very specifically timed to music, where you're really noticing the edits and you're like, oh, wow, that was so cool how that punch lined up with that kick drum or whatever.
Right.
And that's something that I really appreciate, especially as somebody that's rhythmically inclined. I was in percussion in middle school and high school and learned to play the drum set. And so rhythm is something that I feel like is very just like intrinsic to my perception of, the universe. I don't know. And so like when I see a trailer that's perfectly lined up with the rhythm, that matching of audio and visuals is just something that's very satisfying to me. Right.
That's really cool to hear you say that, because I think the rhythm is very important in all of these mediums, whether it's what we're doing right here with the radio or filmmaking or music production. Well, music production, obviously, but it's, there is a rhythm to everything we do and see, I think, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Well, Connor, thank you so much for joining us today. Like I said, I really enjoyed the film. I encourage people to go out there and search for Connor on POV Winona. Perhaps you'll find it. If not, definitely look him up. C4 Productions on YouTube, right?
Yep.
Look that up, and let's check out some of his trailers, give him some support here. So, again, Connor, thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you a lot for having me, and thank you for compliments on the film and for a great conversation.
Thanks again to Connor Forhan, director of the film What Floats Your Boat, which was shown at the 2021 Frozen River Film Festival here in Winona. If you'd like to view the film, it can be found on the Winona Chamber YouTube channel. For more conversations on art, tune into Artbeat Tuesdays at 12:30 right here on 89.5 KQAL. I'm Bill Stoneberg, and we've just heard from filmmaker Connor Forhan on Artbeat.
Artbeat is written and produced by KQAL FM on the campus of Winona State University. Visit us on the web at kqal.org.